Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So as I promised, I have some more Cold War videos for you guys. And the first in this series is I will be telling you guys how to decrypt the floppy disk and also how to choose the correct suspects. Now, a lot of people got confused with this. I struggled actually with the floppy disk for some time before I finally figured it out. This video will help you to figure it out, and the puzzle is going to be different for everyone. So everyone is going to have a different puzzle. It's randomized. You could have the exact same puzzle as me, or you could have a completely different puzzle. But regardless, the key that I show you in order to solve the puzzles is the same for everyone. So I hope this helps you out. Additionally, I will also show you where all the evidence is. Now, a lot of YouTubers, what I noticed is they did like separate videos for each puzzle, each piece of evidence. This video will give you basically everything that you need to know in just one simple video, so I hope it helps. I will also include timestamps down below, which will show you which part is the evidence located, which part is the puzzles. So if you want to skip to a specific section, just check the top pinned comment down below, and you'll be able to do that. Also, I'm going to try to avoid as little spoilers as I can, but some of this stuff is kind of spoilery, so just make sure to keep that in mind. Now, the Cuba briefing. This is really important. When you get up to the Cuba briefing in the campaign, do not do the Cuba mission, because once you do the Cuba mission, you cannot go back and you can't get any more evidence, you can't do the puzzles. So the Cuba briefing is the point where you should stop doing the main story and start doing the puzzles, because at this point, you will have all the evidence that you need to solve the puzzles. Okay, so now let me show you guys where all the intel is in chronological order, and again, I will have timestamps on these locations. So the first evidence that you will get is at the end of the first half of the first mission. Now, this is when you are about to capture Kasim, and you hold him on the edge of the rooftop. Now, you will start interrogating him. Do not throw Kasim off the rooftop until he gives you the coded messages. Now, if you keep talking to him, eventually he is going to tell you that Arash uses coded messages. Once he tells you that, you will get this notification where you will get your first piece of evidence right here. At this point, you can throw him off the rooftop if you want, but I recommend capture him because then you do get a better ending. So now moving on to the next piece of evidence. This is actually a few missions up ahead. This is going to be in the Berlin Wall mission, Brick in the Wall. Now, in this mission, there's two pieces of evidence. The first piece of evidence is easily missable. This piece of evidence is when you have to save the informant Lucas. So you will go into the bar here, you will talk to this girl who is part of the resistance. Afterwards, the Stasi will actually come in. You will be going into the bathroom and you will climb out the back window. Once you go into the alley, you will be avoiding the secret police here, and you can actually hit your touchpad, or you can hit the middle button, I'm assuming on the Xbox, and it'll tell you where the informant is. You go over to this room here, pick the lock, take out the 3 guards here quietly. Once you do that, the film reel will be on this table. Additionally, there's also a notebook which actually tells you, or a piece of paper I should say, that tells you a little bit more information about the informant, but that's not a piece of evidence, just to keep that in mind. The next piece of evidence in this mission is pretty easy. Now, this is once you enter Krause's apartment. When you enter Krause's apartment, go up on the 2nd floor, and when you're in his office here, this is the important part. Now, do not open his secret room until you get this piece of evidence. Now, this evidence will be right in his desk. So all you gotta do, go on the right side of his desk, just open his drawer, and you'll get Krause's notebook, and that's all the intel in Brick in the Wall. The next piece of evidence is going to be the coded newspaper. Now, this is going to be in the mission Operation Greenlight. Now, there is 6 pictures that you can take, but you only need to take 3 pictures, I believe. So I will show you guys where the locations are. And on my screen, it's not going to say that I took the picture unless for 1, because 1 I originally missed, but I still managed to get the evidence. So let me show you guys where they are. So right after you clear out this first gate here, right when you're about to enter, when you go into this guardhouse on the right side of the gate, you will see the first piece of evidence right here. Take a picture of this board. After that, once you move into the base and you kind of go into this this kind of like big hallway area here. This is right before you go into the arcade area. You will actually see this piece of evidence right here in the left room. Take a picture of that and you're good. Now, once you're going through the fake American town that the Spetsnaz are training in, you will actually go into this building. Now, this building will be on the right side of the Burger Town, or also across from the Burger Town. It will be on the 2nd floor. I recommend taking the picture once you clear all the enemies out, because it will be easier. So that's 3 pictures right there. The 4th picture will be right after you hack the Soviet computer. When you go outside of this room here, you will actually find the next piece of intel. It is right on this wall here, or evidence I should call it. There, that's 4. Now, number 5 is going to be in this room here. Now, once you are getting shot by the APC, you're going to be running through these hallways, and you're going to come across this area where you're going to have a few enemies to kill. You kill these enemies, you go on the right side, this room on the ground level, you take the picture there. The final picture is going to be in this room right here, this main room where the APC is. So this is right before you get on the APC and you escape with woods. Clear out all the enemies first. The evidence is going to be on the right side of the room. So right where you enter, it is going to be on the right corner of the room. You go in there, take that picture, and you're good. Next piece of evidence is going to be on Mount Yamantau. And this is going to be the echoes of a Cold War mission. This one is pretty easy to find. Right after you enter the main room, so this is like within the first 5 minutes of the mission. Right after you enter the main room, you will actually find this cassette, which is the number stations broadcast on this table right here. You pick it up. That's all the evidence for that mission. The last evidence in this game is going to be in the KGB building, the Lubyanka building. So once you're in the Lubyanka building, also the mission called Desperate Measures, you will be talking to Gorbachev, Zakhaev, and Kravchenko. Once you're done with that, you will exit the room. Now, this is the most complicated piece of evidence to get, because the evidence will spawn in a bunch of different places. It'll spawn in the server room, it could spawn in the war room, it could spawn in the records room. However, though, there's a pretty good trick to get this. Now, once you disable the cameras, right after you disable the cameras, go to the war room, right here that I have labeled on the map. Once you go into the war room, the piece of intel, the wristwatch, should be right on this table. If it's not there, load up the checkpoint and try it again. But you have to go to the cameras, shut those off, and then go into the war room. If you go into any of the other rooms first, it might despawn the watch, and the watch might spawn somewhere else. But the easiest place that I found to get it is the war room, right after you disable the cameras. Okay, so here's how you figure out exactly who the suspects are. So we're going to be taking a look at the wristwatch first. We're going to look at Bearded Lady's identity. So it says Bearded Lady delivered 3 files, possible mole suspects in Lubyanka, rerouting to Zakhaev, Krakow, Poland on October 4th, 1980. Now it's important to remember that for everybody, the suspects are going to be different. You might not have the same suspects as me. It's going to be different. You're going to have to figure it out. But here's how you do it. So look at Bearded Lady here. The hit here is Krakow, Poland on October 4th, 1980. That is the first hint. So it's somebody that was in Krakow, Poland on October 4th in 1980. Now there's going to be a few suspects that are going to be at that same place at that same time. But now we look at the second one.
The last report from Bearded Lady indicates a vote in Parliament is happening soon. She believes she has enough influence to convince others to side with her.
Now the next hint right here is the gender. So it says the last report from Bearded Lady indicates a vote in Parliament. That's irrelevant because it's not really going to help you. But it says she believes she has enough influence to convince others to side with her. Okay, so we know that she was in Krakow, Poland, October 4th, 1980. And we know that Bearded Lady is a woman. So now we move on to the third piece of evidence. And also, don't judge Bearded Lady by the fact that Bearded Lady's a woman, because Bearded Lady could be a man. The first time I did this, Bearded Lady was a man. So here now we have the third hint. Bearded Lady paid $15,000 East Berlin, Germany, on September 16, 1980. Okay, so now let's look at our suspects. Okay, so this one's very similar. Leslie Sinclair. Let's look at the other ones. Nope, none of the locations for Elina Miller. Claire Koberstein. She was in Krakow, Poland on October 4th, 1980, but she wasn't in East Berlin. So the correct answer right here is Leslie Sinclair, because she matches everything. Leslie Sinclair is a woman, she was in East Berlin on September 16th, 1980, and she was in Krakow, Poland on October 4th, 1980. That is the first suspect. Bearded Lady right here is Leslie Sinclair. Remember, this is going to be different for everyone else. Let's look at Strongman now. Strongman given list for new recruits in Parliament, Dijon, France, September 4th, 1980. Okay, so we know Strongman was in Dijon, France on September 4th. Okay, so what do we know about Strongman? We know that Strongman was in Dijon, France on September 4th, 1980. Strongman is a he. And Strongman was in Barcelona, Spain on January 9th, 1980. Let's look at the suspects again. No Dijon, France. Nope. There's Dijon, France, and there's Barcelona, Spain. Let's just look at the other ones here. Nope. Nope. This is strongman right here, Aaron Lee. That's our second spy. Okay, Juggler. Juggler was in Rome, Italy, January 9th, 1981.
Juggler is worried he may lose his next election. Recommends active measures against his opponents.
Okay, so Juggler is a he. And he was in Rome, Italy on January 9th, 1981. And in Vienna, Austria on January 8th, 1981. Let's look at the suspects. This looks a lot like Juggler right here. Vienna, Austria, January 8th, January 9th. Let's just look at the other ones. Nope. Nope. Yep, this is right here. This is Juggler. Those are the three suspects. We got them. And that is pretty much it. Make sure you choose the right suspects before you start the mission. And if you chose the right suspects, once you complete the mission, you will actually get an award that will tell you chose the right suspects. If you've already gotten that award, you won't realize who the right suspects are until you beat the game. When you beat the game, they'll tell you if you got it right or not. Okay, so now let's move on to solving the floppy disk. Decrypting the floppy disk. Now this one is going to be a little bit more challenging than the suspects one. I had a little bit of a harder time with this. Now, it's important to note, like I said in the first part with the suspects, every single person is going to have a different one. You could have the exact same codes as me, or it could be different. But regardless, the key to solving these puzzles is always the same. So let me explain here. So the first clue that we have, the newspaper. You guys see the red letters there. Now the red letters in the newspaper, they represent a city. And you're going to have to put those letters together to figure out exactly what the city is. Now we're going to be looking at the third clue. And the third clue here is the number station. And it's one of these cities right here. And what I did was I looked at the city names, the letters in the newspaper. Originally, I had the city Miami. So I was able to figure out pretty easily that it was Miami because it wasn't that many letters. I kept rearranging it, and I figured out it was Miami. Then I looked at the number station broadcast. I was like, yeah, it is Miami. But now I look at this here on my second attempt. It was not Miami. It was something else. So what I did was I looked at the letter H, and I was looking at cities that had the letter H in them because not a lot do. And there's only two that have it, Omaha and then Charlotte. And Charlotte had the two T's, which I knew that it was Charlotte at that point. So Charlotte has the numbers 1968. Now to decrypt the floppy disk has a 4-digit passcode, all numbers. And the 4-digit passcode is going to be whatever city is in the newspaper. So in this case, Charlotte. So it's 1968. 1968 is the code. Now there's a password also. The password is all going to be in letters, and it's going to be another city name. Now to figure out exactly what the password is, we have to look at this paper that Kasim gave us. This is why it's important to not kill Kasim, like I said. Make sure that he gives you this paper. So we look through it, and near the end, we see these two question marks. We see a red question mark, and we see a blue question mark. Those are going to be the codes for the city. And we look at them, they are going to have a pattern. So let's look at the red ones first. The red ones. The red ones are pretty easy to figure out here. It's 66, 73, 80, and then there's another one that's missing, the red question mark, and 94. It goes up by 7 each time. So 66, 73, 80 is 87. So the first red question mark is 87. Now the second one, the blue one, this one made me go crazy because originally I thought that it was doubling, but it wasn't actually doubling, and that's why I struggled with it for so time. Instead, it just kept adding 2 each time. So look, 29, and then it became 31. We're looking at the blue numbers, and then 35. And then we have 49 at the end. So what is going to be the next one? It went to 2 from 29 to 31, 4 from 31 to 35. That means the next one is going to be going up by 6. So it's going to be 41. So that means it's going to be 8741. So now let's look at the number station broadcast, and let's see, is there a city that has the codes 8741? And there is. It is Madison. So that's basically it. Once you figure out what that code is in Kasim's paper, make sure you figure out what the pattern is. There's a pattern to both the blue and the red Figure that out, match it together, take that 4-digit number, match it to this number station broadcast, and put in the password. Again, remember, the code is what's in the newspaper. You match that city to the newspaper, number station broadcast, that's the code. Password is going to be what's on Kasim's paper. So right here, we put in 1968 for Charlotte as the code. Password, we put in now Madison. And look at that, we're in. We got it. We decrypted the floppy disk. We're good on this. So I hope that this guide has helped you guys out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about this puzzle, I actually love doing these puzzles. I had a lot of fun with them. I really did enjoy doing them. If you have any questions about how to do these puzzles, let me know down below. I hope that this video helps out people that had a little bit of a problem with it. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you're new to my channel, you might not subscribe. I will still have more Cold War videos up. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.